Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today I'm joined by Senator Ana Caballero and our Mayor of Elk Grove, Bobby Singh Allen, as we celebrate the passage of SB 509 that is headed to the governor's desk. I want to thank Senator Ana Caballero for her steadfast support of not just the Sikh community, but for me as well.
Thank you.
This has been such a turbulent 2 years, but you held on and you were there and you didn't falter, and we got this through, even through how many struggles that we went through to get this bill. Only I think we know the struggles
Yes.
of how much it took to get this bill this far. I could not have done it without your support, without Assemblymember Soria's support. I think this speaks volumes to immigrants coming together. The immigrant story, this is what makes America beautiful. It's immigrants protecting the rights of immigrants.
That's right.
And we had not only the Sikh community, but the Hispanic community united in protecting everyone's rights. So thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome.
Could not have done this without
You're welcome.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And then we'll, yeah. Well, we can give it to her.
Okay, on the other line, like upside.
Oops. We'll put this here.
Is it too thick?
ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਸੀ magnet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
There you go.
Here you go.
So today's a really great day because we celebrate the passage of SB 509. My name is Ana Caballero. I'm the state senator and I represent the Central Valley. And the Central Valley here in California is a powerful agricultural valley that welcomes immigrants, that welcomes anyone who wants to come to California and work hard to be able to support their families. And SB 509 was a bill that is currently moving to the governor's desk. And we're here today to celebrate the passage of that bill and also to stand here in solidarity and say all immigrants need to be protected and all immigrants need to feel like the community has their back, and that if something bad is happening, they can go to our local police department and get help. And what SB 509 says is that it requires that all local police departments have training to understand transnational repression, to understand the possibility of threats of harm and damage to individuals who come here looking for a better life, but are pursued directly or indirectly by their home country. And so what we're asking is that the immigrant community contact the governor's office and ask for a signature, because in order for this to become law, we need a signature. And this is really important during these difficult times where federal agents are coming into our community and hurting people. We want the world to know that California stands up for immigrants, and we organize and we get things done together. So I want to thank the Assembly member for her hard work. She started this all, and for working so closely with me in the Senate, because it takes both the Senate and the Assembly to do this important work. So thank you very much, Assembly Member Baines. Dr. Baines is a very, very important member of the community, member of the Assembly, and we work together to get this done. Also want to call out Assembly Member Soria, who was our partner in working in the Assembly as well. She, of course, is from an immigrant family and feels very strongly about protecting immigrants, and she would have been here today, but she had other responsibilities.
Yep, it's end of session for all of us, so we have been putting in some long hours. We have 2 more days, and I'm looking forward to being done on Saturday and going home. But thank you guys so much. This was not going to be able to be done without the support of key people. One is SALDEF, one is the Sikh Coalition, one is AGPC, and one is the Sikh Caucus Committee as well. All of these organizations came together to support, and as Senator Caballero said, it's really important to get your name out to the governor's office to make sure that he hears from the community to sign this very important bill that protects all immigrants that are escaping authoritarian regimes and protecting their rights that are guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. This is a very troubling time for anyone in America, and we just want you to know California cherishes its rich history, its rich immigrant history, and we will do everything that we can to work together. Every marginalized community deserves representation, and every community deserves a voice and a seat at the table, and this is one step on that path. So thank you guys so much. Bobby, did you have anything?
You want me to add to this? Okay.
Sure. Want to?
It's okay, don't worry.
What's this?
Oh.
Am I doing it wrong?
No,
oh,
they're
okay.
two.
Okay, two microphones. Well, I applaud Senator Caballero and, of course, my sister, Assemblywoman Dr. Jasmeet Kaur Bains. This is an important moment for the Sikh community, but for all immigrant communities. Transnational repression is a threat. It's a threat to democracy. U.S. citizens, residents here are being targeted by foreign interference right here in the United States. It is unacceptable. I have my uncle here who was targeted, harassed, and is on a list by the Indian government. That is unacceptable. Just because we exercise our free speech and call out governments for the wrongdoings that are taking place in Punjab and speaking our voices for the atrocities that puts us on a list, that is unacceptable. This is the United States of America, and we will exercise our freedom of speech and our rights and protect not only the Sikh community, but all communities. Right now, you have other governments outside of India that are also doing the same thing, in China, in Russia, and we want to elevate this to the same level. Foreign interference and the threats and harassment of U.S. citizens and immigrants and citizens right here in the United States will not be tolerated. Let's send a loud and clear message to the governor. Sign this bill. Sign this bill. This is to protect our democracy. Please step up and do the right thing.
Great. Great.
Senator Caballero, what do you think about the opposition you're facing regarding this point?
So that's a great question. The question is, how do I feel about the opposition? The opposition was about language, and language is important. And I think everybody that opposed wanted to feel like they were not going to be targeted themselves. That it had to be a fair process. That what the bill does is it just gives police officers training, and it gives local police training so that they know how to take a report, and that report can be used in the future to protect the individual that is making the complaint. Right now, the police have no clue about international relations. We're small farming communities. They just don't know. And so we want them to be prepared to take reports, to know how to send them to the federal authorities so that there can be protections put in place. And so we're all working together to protect the immigrants that are being targeted. So the opposition was concerned that what we were trying to do is to stereotype and to set things up so that they would be targeted, and give authorities the ability to go in and to persecute them. That was never the intention of the bill. So we were able to work out language that I think everybody was satisfied with, and that made people feel like their rights were not being violated because of the bill too. And I'm very sensitive to that, because we all have biases and prejudices, and we don't want to stereotype people. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome, everybody feels like they're listened to, and that, as Dr. Bain said, that they have a seat at the table as well. And I think in the end we were able to accomplish everything we needed to. You can't satisfy everybody, and that's okay. But we got as close as we could to reducing the conflict.
Have you talked to Governor Newsom after the passage of the bill? The legislative process is complete. What is he saying about? Is he going to sign? Is he going to veto? What are you hearing?
So right now we are passing hundreds of bills, and he's focused on other things. We have Proposition 50 on the ballot to do a redistricting so that President Trump doesn't get to rig the legislature that he has to work with, and so that we have fair elections. And so we'll have the governor will have 30 days after we recess, so 30 days after Saturday, to decide what bills to send, and we will be in contact with the governor at that time as he's sitting to figure out which bills to sign and which bills not to sign. Typically, there's really no discussion about maybe not. The governor doesn't give away any idea of what he's going to do, which is why we need the public to help us to put pressure on the governor, send in letters, send in text, call his office and say, please sign this bill. That's the kind of pressure that will make a difference in his decision. We know that. So we'll send in our own letters, we'll make phone calls, but the help of the community would be tremendously helpful.
A year ago, you were standing here on these stairs when there was a huge 350 miles march from Bakersfield to Sacramento. So what has changed through that to this moment?
Well, we marched in solidarity, and the commitment we made at that march, as we stood here on the steps, the commitment we made to everybody that had marched and who marched with us from the local Gurdwara, it was that we would run a bill and we would get it to the governor's desk to protect the community from transnational repression. And so we made that commitment here. We did it. We made that promise and we delivered it. Yep. So that's one of the reasons we're really excited to be here, because we're on the very steps where we made that commitment. Yep. And we thanked those individuals that walked. It's not an easy walk, and it was not an easy weather situation. And those people who walked made a big difference.
Hats off to JCARA for all their work on organizing that march. That could not have been put together without all of the different organizations that came together. So thank you so much to JCARA for their work on that march.
Assembly member, to all the Sikh American community or all the minorities who fear the persecution of the governments from where they came here, what is your message to you right now?
Exactly what Senator Caballero was saying is, look, I understand it's a very difficult time for the community, but this is where, we have to rise up. We cannot accept the status quo of the persecution of immigrants that are happening in this country. That is why I announced to run for Congress. We currently have no representation at the federal level for a Sikh person in Congress. We need to break that history. We gotta have that representation, because on and on, if we're not at those tables, we are going to not have that voice at a higher level. Transnational repression is actually a federal issue. In order for us to really tackle this, we have to have representation at the federal level, which we currently lack. I have announced my congressional bid. The election will be next year, and this is where the community has to really get together, because as Senator Caballero said, we got to put Trump in check. The things that are happening at the federal level are really scaring our community, and it's creating a sense of psychological warfare on our community, and we have to stand up, and this is our moment to rise and demand our representation at the federal level.
Puneet Kaur from Sikh Coalition, do you want to add anything? The whole legislative process, it has been a grind for the whole community. You come close to the mic and
I can give
Here,
you,
she can
I
have
can give
mine.
you the mic.
Can you hear me okay?
Here's another one.
I think you
There's
wanna
two.
put it on you because it'll.
Thank you very much.
You wanna take this?
Okay, can you hear me okay? Thank you. I first want to start off by saying, yes, it is a very long and grueling legislative process, but we are first and foremost extremely grateful to our legislative champion, Senator Caballero, Assemblymember Dr. Jasmeet Bains, as well as Assemblymember Soria, who all spoke so powerfully on, on the Assembly and Senate floors through committee and really championed communities who aren't always thought of or who often feel left behind in this issue. And as an advocate, I can say, most people think when a bill passes, the work is done, but this is really when the work starts, right? There is still going to be a year and a half until this training is in the hands of officers. There is going to be a long process to create and implement this training. And in the meantime, transnational repression is going to continue. These threats are not going to stop just because a bill has passed, and we must continue to use our voices, to use our collective power as a community. We were able to gather over 106 at some of these committee hearings to come together and speak their truth, something that none of these people who immigrated from India had the ability or the safety to do in their own home country. So we need to be able to continue to mobilize and continue to organize and support not just our communities, all impacted communities, to combat transnational repression, to educate law enforcement and lawmakers about these threats, and to empower Governor Newsom to sign this legislation. We are handing him an incredible public safety win. This is a measure for public safety, not just for the Sikh community, but for all impacted, marginalized communities, for all diaspora communities. And that is partially why the Sikh community cares so much, because this bill is for the safety of all people. Sarbat da Pala. That is a tenet of our faith, and it is seen in live motion with hundreds of people showing up for this bill. Some people, elderly, traveling from as far as LA, they didn't have the safety to express their political opinions in their home country. And for people to come here and still face that fear of not being able to practice the most fundamental American right, freedom of speech, religion, political views, we have to make sure that there are public safety measures that are common sense and will apply to protect all people in place. And for that, we are incredibly grateful once again to our legislative champions, to all of the Sanghat members and folks who came out to the Capitol to support, to all of our advocates and community partners in and outside of the Sikh community. And I want to reiterate again, the work is just beginning. From here on, we are going to continue to do what we can to address transnational repression at the state and local level until we see impactful movements at the federal level. Because this is a federal issue, but the impacts are very, very local, as can be told by many of the folks standing here who have been personally impacted. So stay organized, let's stay mobilized, and keep paying attention to what's happening. We will continue to look to the community for support. We'll continue to look to our legislative champions for support. And thank you all.
Dr. Pratpal Singh, what do you think is going to be the next step from the Sikh community or people from these marginalized communities? What do you think we should do next? How to pursue Governor Newsom?
ਨਾ ਵੀ ਲਾ ਦਵਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਲਾਈਟ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੁਛ ਗੱਲੂ ਬਾਈ ਦੇਖਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਜੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਲੈਟ ਮੀ ਥੈਂਕ ਫਸਟ Assembly member Jasmeet Kaur Bains, our senator, and the other people who participated in these things. And we are really thankful to you and to you also that you have catered the community. You are taking the communities with you. And as you said, what's the next step? And at the same time, let me thank Sikh Coalition, SELDF, Jaikara, American Gurdwara Bandhak Committee, Sikh Caucus Committee. They have worked tirelessly for this moment. So it's half done. We are at this step. So the next step is that they have sent the bill to the governor. So it's our duty, it's the duty of the Sangat, all communities. We should write letters, phone calls to the governor that he should sign it. It's not for the one community only. This is for everyone. It's for the safety of all the people. And especially for those who used to say that this is me and Prime Minister of one country and we know how to do it and we will go and kill you. So it will be a stoppage for those people. And at the end, so Bobby Allen, she is really our good speaker, and we need our people, as Assembly Member Vance said, we need our people at the federal level so that they can do better job over there. So thank you again, all the people who worked tirelessly for this movement. And the next step is that we should convince, we should write, we should make phone calls to the governor that he should sign this bill. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Waheguru Ji.